move, in my opinion.
All right, Sam, contrarian quarter time.
The Spurs lost this trade.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like,
okay,
I don't like, okay. So this is like, I'm still kind of like, hold
on. Can you please, before you say this, I need you to read and summarize what the Spurs gave up to get De'Aaron Fox.
Okay. So what the Spurs gave up was the aforementioned like 1.5 picks that are like 3 first-round picks, including one of their own. It was a bunch of their horde of like second-round picks that they have, and then they got off the Zach Collins contract, and they did all their other stuff there. Now here's what's happening. They're inheriting a expiring De'Aaron Fox.
1.5 years.
1.5 years. It's not a player. It's not a player option next year. Okay, never mind. So, okay. So the point is even so next year on his age 28 season, he's going to have been in the league for 9 years. So he's going to be qualifying for what'll probably be at that point a $50 million a year contract that will probably end up somewhere in the $60 million range. And that is year like it does kind of coincide with like the Wemby thing and like the last chance that you have before like Wemby's rookie extension kicks in. But like Wemby might get Supermax. The Spurs don't really like have anyone. They've already paid Keldon Johnson. They're only going to have their own first round pick. They really only have one Atlanta first that is conveying this year.
Yeah,
then a bunch of swaps. They have the Celtic swap, an Atlanta swap, and
King swap,
a King swap, and then there is a 2027 Atlanta pick too. So like, so basically they're like one pick positive with like some swaps. And a lot of them are not like super interesting. Like that Atlanta one, like maybe I'm kind of skeptical the Spurs are going to be good enough for that to be like meaningful. Like I think they'll probably pop up like 7 spots, which is a lot, but like it's not going to be like changing their fortunes or anything like that. That's like the difference between getting like a 6 man and a 4th man if you're like drafting well. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is like what I spend my stuff on.
So that if you don't believe that De'Aaron Fox is the right guy to pair with Wemby, I can hear this argument. On its face, in terms of trade value, it's a fantastic trade to me. In terms of if you think De'Aaron Fox is the wrong guy to pair with Wemby, then sure. Then yeah, they made a mistake if that is the case. I'm more on the side that like I think that De'Aaron Fox has had I've talked about this before, but like his highs are like very, very high. When he's healthy, I know he's been playing a little bit injured this year. Incredible athlete, extremely good finisher. Honestly, probably the second best guard finisher in the NBA behind SGA and then maybe I guess Luka. Now Los Angeles Laker Luka, which is the fucking weirdest thing of all time. Then you add in the fact that he's become an improved mid-range shooter. He's not going to be asked to run the entire offense. He's kind of, I would imagine, will function similarly to the way that when Sabonis first got to the King, the first year and a half, 2 years they played together. And on top of that, like, I don't think he's a horrible defender. I think that Wemby can cover up a lot of mistakes for guys who are, not elite on that end because he kind of is the neutralizer for all bad defenders. And then add on top of that, like, he wants to be there. I think his second option Fox could be really intriguing alongside with Wemby. I honestly am still kind of on the hill of, I'm dying on the hill of like, I like the fact that the Spurs are being aggressive. I've wanted them to do this because I think that Wemby is that guy. He's that good. And if you want to make a move, if you want to move up in the standings, if you want to be aggressive, I'm totally fine with a move like this. Once again, the thing that I'm a little bit lower on is just the rest of the Spurs roster in terms of competing right away, like competing this year, and then we'll see what they do this offseason as well.
I have to be completely honest. I'm pretty happy about this from the Spurs perspective, and I'm a De'Aaron Fox skeptic. Like, I think that this is first and foremost, this is you now get to see every new player you do bring in a reasonable context. And that is a really a positive thing. Like, now you get to see them alongside Fox and Wemby. Also, this doesn't preclude them from getting real cap space going forward. Like they have a lot of
This is the Wemby rookie contract.
Exactly.
I forgot about that part. See, that's the reason why I've wanted them to. I mean, I'm probably stealing this from Bill, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is like the rookie quarterback thing in the NFL, where it's like if you have a guy for the first 4 years of their rookie quarterback deal in the NFL, you want to try to maximize the team as much as possible. There's an argument that in a year from now, like next season, that Wemby contract will be the greatest contract in the history of the NBA from a team building perspective.
I agree. Well, at least since rookie LeBron. Like,
yeah,
legitimately.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, who has put up that much production potential? Like, if he's a top 5 player next year,
and I think he will be,
and he's close to that already. Like, he's definitely a top 10 player right now. If you can, it's literal. Well, the other person is the guy the Mavericks just traded.
Well, so
it's Luka. Luka is literally the answer. And by the way, if you want to go with Sam's point here, what did the Mavericks do? They made the bet on the wrong guy. They made their move for Porzingis. He was never healthy. They didn't fit. And that is the risk that you take when you make moves like this, is that you need to make sure that you're getting the right guy. Now, Fox wants to be there. I think the fit is decent. If they can get a little bit more shooting and a little bit more talent around them, I think they could be a really nice team. But you have to make sure that you bet on the right guy.
So I'm going to just link. I tweeted it just so I had the image. I don't but this is from friend of the Discord, Gabe, and his app or his command that shows the contracts. But these are the contracts before the trade for the Spurs. And if you look at it, like even with the trade, especially having moved off Zach Collins as well.
Yeah.
Like they are not hard committed to really any players outside of a small core few plus Wemby, which means like they could, like, I'm not going to say this like right now because I'm not projecting this far in the future, but like, do you think Luka considers becoming like
this is such a Bill thing?
No,
are we sure? Are we sure the guy who just got traded might not immediately leave the team that he's going to?
Well, no, not immediately. I want to point that out. I just want to say because now he no longer has the supermax on the table.
That's not even. I don't even think that's worth speculating on. I mean, here's the thing: nothing is predictable anymore, apparently, because we literally just saw Luka get traded 24 hours ago. And I can't really project for those kind of things.
I'm not saying a free agent sign. I'm saying he extends with the Lakers, and then they could theoretically, the Spurs could still be in a position to go get him.
I mean, sure. I just feel like if you're doing once again, the thing that I like about this is the fact that they have Wemby on a rookie contract. Fox. I mean, look, is Fox getting a full max? Because to Sam's point, like, I don't think the Aaron Fox has shown that he's worth that second max.
Well, he's not eligible for the big max. He would only
he's not eligible for a super max, which by the way is part of
max is big though.
It's like massive. It's like 30% of the cap.
Yeah. And like I don't think people understand how like much the cap is going up because it didn't jump in like a big way like in the other one. Like they're still not gonna like be able to have. This is my point, okay? Like because the Spurs. Everyone's calling like this all the like picks that the Spurs just put in this trade fake. It's like, okay, that's true. That's also pretty much all the first round picks that they had outside of those Atlanta picks. Now those Atlanta picks looked pretty juicy when DeJounte Murray was there and Trae Young looked like he was going to be asking out and they didn't win the lottery. They're kind of a young team now. That's kind of ascendant. They're not going to be like this dog shit like team. They're going to be probably a play-in team moving forward in the East. Like they're fine picks. They're not great picks. And the Spurs
probably end up where they've been picking, which is like 12 to like 18.
Yeah. Like you're not getting
the one last year.
You've got to like nail that pick. And at that point, like you're just doing small bean drafting team at that shit. Like if you nail those picks, you were going to be a good team anyway. I don't know. I don't know if this is the move. Like if I'm the Spurs, I think
I don't think it's the move, but I think it's a move, and I think it's a good
It is
move.
a move.
Right now,
I think
just want to put this on the radar though. People are saying in chat right now they've lost 8 in a row and their second best players out for the year, and they currently have the 10th pick in the draft. So, like, in a pretty good draft, the Spurs right now have the 10th and 11th pick. So it's not like they won't have multiple opportunities to take swings, which you always talk about, Sam. Like, if you're good enough at scouting, which I don't know if the Spurs are, to be clear, because I don't really think their drafting history has been anything great, and it's part of the reason why they have to do this move. Personally, I think if they drafted better the last few years, they probably wouldn't have to make these kind of push-in moves. But to walk away only giving up draft capital to get off bad contracts, get De'Aaron Fox back. Now, there's always a chance that De'Aaron Fox isn't the right guy to bet on. I think he probably will be a good fit there. There's always a chance that that could be the case, and I don't disagree, but I do think they will have opportunities to bring in more young talent or even trade those picks and get more surefire talent around Wemby immediately.
I just think that the opportunity cost, and to your point, Sam, I do agree. This isn't. I agree that this is not the move. This does not, to me, make the Kings an overall solid contender tier team right now. But I think it is a good enough move with a low enough opportunity cost that leaves them with the opportunity to, again, being able to take those swings, like Trill's saying, like right now, if they could get, I'm a pretty big fan of both Sorber and Derek Queen in this class as secondary bigs that could work off of a player like Wemby. Those are both going to be players that might be available in their range.
Yeah, I mean, we know this draft is going to be really good. There's always a chance. I mean, we literally just saw Atlanta jump up. Now it sucks for Atlanta that they jumped up during the fucking 1 year that it is the only time it's bad to jump up in the draft and in the Richeche number 1 overall pick draft. But at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen with these picks that are at the end of the lottery right now. I think this makes the Spurs better in the interim. I don't think it makes them massively better. I still think their pick is going to be somewhere, their own pick is going to be somewhere between 11 and 15, 16, even if they make a play and push here.
Well, but that's the thing, is I think that now they will make the play and push. That's part of my calculus here, is I think that they are going to kind of remove themselves going forward. I think they are going to be in that sloppy tier. The Lakers are going to be dropping back, depending on how many the games Luka misses.
Yeah, let's just
keep in mind, guys. I do think that Fox is obviously instantly their second best player.
Yes.
I look at it and I go, Fox was amazing to start the year. And maybe it's just the malaise of not wanting to be in Sacramento. They kind of were working him out. I don't know if you guys watched the Kings recently, but they were using him off the ball way more. They were preparing for him to leave, basically. And the thing that I just want to add here is he is injured right now. And he has not been able to hit a layup in fucking weeks, it seems like. And if he's not fully healthy, I'm talking literally just for this season, the West is still really good and competitive. I don't think it guarantees them that they get a top 7 seed or whatever. Now, maybe they're just in that play-in mix and they have a chance, but they could still end up with the 14th through, or 11th through 14th pick in some.
If only the Spurs had a point guard that could hold the fort down while they were waiting for De'Aaron Fox to. If only they had one of the greatest point guards of all time on their roster.
I mean, yeah, Chris Paul's still an effective player. I'm not saying that, but also I will maintain that if Chris Paul is your second or third best player in 2025, you're going to be below average. And
you're going to be bad, and you'll get a 7th or 8th round pick. I just think that this puts them in the middle more when they don't need to be in the middle.
But the thing is, they have two bites of the apple this year. I
get it, but I'm just saying the asset chest gets really fucking I don't think people understand. If you're going out there, let's say, I'm trying to think of who would become available. Just
what if Luka Doncic became? Wouldn't that be insane? Wouldn't it be insane if the Dallas Mavericks decided we're going to trade Luka Doncic?
Okay, here's a good example: Jaylen Brown. The Celtics have to get off that money. They have to trade Jaylen Brown next offseason. That's somebody who might fit with them. If you don't like Jaylen Brown, whoever, pick someone that they're going to be trading for. You're coming to the table with like, yeah, we have one Atlanta swap and one pick. And then we also have all of our other picks with the number one player in the NBA coming at some point. Nobody is going to value their own picks in the way that, like, normally when you're making these trades with your own picks, people get to bet against you. They get to bet against, okay, like you have like a team right now that is like focused on that's part of why the Luka Doncic thing is so insane. Let me just go back to the trade because I want to talk about that. I actually think the Kings did really well here. I'm going to be like totally honest. I think that, like, even if it's 1.5 fake first, I think Zach Lavine, while probably a worse player than De'Aaron Fox, he's what, a year and a half older, 2 years older, something like that. He's not 30.
Wow.
He's like 3 years older. 2014 draft versus 2017 draft.
Yeah,
Both,
but you have an
both
old for
done.
one. Yeah, they're both one and done, but one was a slightly older.
I think
done.
Fox was a little bit older, so it's like
Yeah.
2.5, 3 years.
De'Aaron Fox is the same age as Jason Tatum. He's 27, and
so it's like 2.5 years. We've been over, like, Zach Lavine's contract is like really not that bad. And he's shooting, like, he just fits so much better with like what's going on with that team. They got off Kevin Huerter, who was like a classic change of scenery guy. I like Kevin Huerter. We've talked about this before. Like, I actually kind of like the idea of, like, I like the Bulls getting a swing on Kevin Huerter. If
I was going to say it's a chance to regain value in a context that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, like pump him up, like, you know, whatever, like red on red. You got a redhead in the Red Bulls uniform. Like,
seeing red, folks.
I think the Zach Collins contract is absolute dog shit. Next year, the Bulls are going to have an $18 million expiring contract, which might actually have value and might actually be important to like trades and like teams dumping money and like stuff like that. So like as you said, Trill, I agree with what you said at the top of this. I don't think it's like very good. I don't think it's like a it's not good overall. But given where the market was for Zach Lavine, that nobody seemed to want to give like up.
The problem is the market was wrong for Zach Lavine, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand. I think he's a better player than this, and I think I give a lot of credit, even if it's just 1.5 fake first. Getting 1.5 fake first and getting back like a player that's like,
I think they're like similar. Players.
Yeah.
Like, I think I put it like this. If you're building a team that wants to be competitive and like make noise in the playoffs, Lavine should probably be your third best player, and Fox should probably slot into that second role. Lavine probably fits on more teams across the NBA because of his shooting. Now, is he willing to buy into a role like he has this year with the Bulls, where, you know, he's I've said like he could be like almost like an athletic Clay type. Is he willing to do that in Sacramento? That's the question that needs to be answered, because I don't know if we can necessarily say that or not. But like the Fox thing, like you have to work around Fox's inefficiencies. And with Lavine, he probably has more teams that he can fit onto because of the shooting, finishing, all that shit, playing off the ball.
Again, I think that like also we have to filter this through what the team actually wants and what Vivek wants. And while I don't think that Lavine is a great long-term piece for the Bulls or for the Kings specifically, in the short term and in terms of what they appear to want in terms of their type of winning, I think he fits both their timeline and the general field of fun team prerogative pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that and once again, I think that Kings fans are probably sick of like tanking. I know that they haven't really done that in quite some time, but like, I think that management and ownership and the fan base is all aligned on that. Like, it doesn't seem to work out for us when we're bad. So like, we might as well try to field a decent enough team. Now, I don't know what else was on the table here. I obviously think they clearly wanted Castle. They couldn't get Castle. And once again, I'm not going to harp on the Castle thing. Like, I don't really like the fit with him and De'Aaron Fox, but if you're the Spurs and you think that Castle has star upside, sure, then hang with him.
It also
try to develop him.
It leaves Castle in your war chest as well.
Sure, yeah, you can make another trade.
Sure. I also would, if I'm the Kings with what they want, I would rather have Zach Lavine. What are the odds that Castle's ever as good as Zach Lavine?
I mean, yeah, I get that. I also think that with Castle, it was always more of an upside play. They would obviously save a lot more money on that, and they would be patient with him and try to mold him into something. And we've talked about like the idea of like building like a deeper, more talented team in this new like second apron environment, and how some teams obviously are going for that, and how it's going to be a little bit more difficult unless you have like legitimate guys on like rookie value deals. Which is probably the idea of Castle. But I always thought that Castle wasn't going to be, even if you're a big Castle guy, like we're talking about like probably like year 3 or 4, where he's like a neutral to positive, legit offensive player. And by that point, you're already signing him to the extension anyway. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, look, Zach and Fox are probably going to be, it's going to be the Zach Lavine contract will probably be a cautionary tale to teams as they move into this new second apron environment. The fact that they couldn't move off the deal, all that shit. And then the Fox thing, like, look, I really like De'Aaron Fox, and I think I want to see him in a new context, what he looks like playing with Wemby, how that really kind of, how those two can function together. But if you want to make max money, dude, like third contract max money, you really have to ball out in the next year. And one of the reasons why he forced this trade was because he wanted to try to make All NBA this year to get the Supermax, and he just was not good enough to do that. And part of it was also the fact that they got DeMar and Monk, and that's not really a great fit for what he wants to do.
By the way, that might work because like people love sucking off small market teams and like secondary co-stars, and like all due respect, I love him. Jaylen Brown made a first team All NBA.
Small market of Boston.
Sorry, not small market, but I'm just saying, like when teams have like when teams are good and there's
that is not true though. Jaylen Brown did not make a first team All NBA.
Sorry, made All NBA. Sorry, there's a chance that like Fox could make All NBA. I guess
there would have to be a Spurs.
Playing with Wemby.
Yes.
But playing with Wemby, that's first off. No one, and I once again I want to put this out there. I like this trade for the Spurs. I like the fit. I think they did great work here, getting Fox for not giving up much. Having said that, the Spurs' reputation is based on the past. Like their new front office has done some things, and like I think they get credit for a lot of previous regime shit that they
do
necessarily
seem to have
credit for.
Did you see? I was about to say the Spurs have drafted more sex offenders than good players besides Wemby. Yeah, that is true.
That's true. That's
also,
that's a fact.
Did you look? I just want to point out when they were interested in Josh Giddey, that's just to make Wemby feel at home. Wemby's French, and nothing's going to make him feel more at home than.
Yeah, Google age of consent laws, France.
Yeah. Google any French philosopher except for the one. French.
Like seriously. All right, Kevin, by the way, I know you're fucking scratching at the door like my cats when I haven't fed them yet, but I will let you up on stage to rant at the end of this. Just give it a little bit of time.
So just to be clear, too, they also Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell all getting $60 million over the next 2 years between those.
Yeah, not great. No, wait, hold on. Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and who?
Harrison Barnes.
I mean, Harrison Barnes is expiring next year.
Next year.
I mean, what's that?
Next year.
Yeah, that's what I said. Harrison Barnes is expiring next year. So a year from now at the deadline, that is something they could trade if they wanted to, for example.
What they're doing is they're setting themselves up. Basically, what the Spurs game plan is going to be, I can tell you right now, is 2026. They're trying to do their they're doing their Daryl Morey offseason. They're doing their Paul George offseason. In 2026, because that is when Wemby is going to get his what will undoubtedly be a Supermax contract. And this will be the last chance because his cap hit is only going to be, it's still going to be pretty big. It's going to be like $26 million, $30 million, but it'll be significantly smaller than the contract he's about to get. So they're going to have to like do that. And if there's no like free agent available, they're not going to have a ton of like desirable picks like to make a move. The only thing that like could save them is like if Presti continues this cold war of like hoarding picks, and so does Danny Ainge, then like, and the Thunder and Jazz decide, no, we don't want to trade for your player either, then that might just be the best offer is like a
who's Reagan and Gorbachev in this? Well, I guess they ended the Cold War kind of.
Yeah.
So wait. Are we giving Gorbachev credit with ending the Cold War?
No, I mean, no.
Karnisovas would be the Gorbachev in this category.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that would be the historical comp. There would be Karnisovas.
Yeah,
would be the one. Just Karnisovas in the cuck chair, just giving away everything.
I want to see the Spurs have a good transaction cycle too, because the only thing, pretty much the only thing that they've done right is draft Victor Wembanyama, which literally every single team in the league would have done like in their place. Like they literally just got lucky with like the lottery balls. So I don't know. I don't think this is like open and shut.
Folks, Sam has located his new team to hate on now that the Thunder and the Grizzlies are impressive again.
I just everyone like is like 2 years too early on like all of these teams, like sucking them off. Like, and it's like the Spurs will. I would not be surprised if the Spurs like genuinely make the playoffs and scare the shit out of some team just because like Wemby went God mode.
Sure.
That said, if Wemby goes like God mode, like that's part of the thing with Wemby is he's just gonna go God mode. Like
this is all I wanted though. I just wanted them to have a puncher's chance, and I think that this is the thing that gives them a puncher's chance in a series. Like I've seen De'Aaron Fox be really good in the playoffs, and I think that does matter when you're acquiring a player. And I do think that he has special traits that could potentially translate to higher level basketball in a way that a lot of these guys, there are a few guys that could become available. Devin Booker would also obviously have that. Shit, Giannis could have that if he ever became available. But ultimately, I'm fine with them making the move. Like De'Aaron Fox wants to be there. I don't really want to spend more time on the Spurs angle of this because I think it's just something that we're going to disagree on here.